We're talking about the body, our bodies, ourselves, our beingness, and how the planets are the celestial bodies. So they're made of matter. They're made of ethers. They're made of different gases and combinations of chemicals, just like we are. And when we're born, we have all those planets inside of us. We have those chemicals and those things that are made of matter that make us matter. And so it's not just symbolic, it's literal. The planets are in us and we are in the planets. So it's a unification. As we study this, it's a unification of us with our own galaxy. A projection of the galaxy at the moment that we came into a body, right? And then how our body takes on that vibration, that energetic, in the cells, in the way we're lit, in the way we're animated. And yes, we are all actors on the earth stage of life. And the cool thing is we can be anything, and we have free will. We can be anything, anyone we like. But there was a soul contract that was downloaded when we took our first breath. And when we took that first air breath of earth life, that imprint in that moment is what our birth date and our birth chart and our birth time represents as a celestial being embodied in a physical form. So all the planets are there. They're somewhere in the sky that day. They're doing certain dances together, or maybe tango, maybe Aikido. They could be doing all kinds of things up there, but the planets are representing aspects of ourselves, aspect of ourself. And then what does that mean right now? That means like we carry that frequency and vibration with us everywhere we go. And so it's sort of like a blueprint of our soul. It's a blueprint of who we are here in this earth's embodiment. And how cool is that? How cool is that we can use the planets and we can use these constellations that we see here from spaceship Earth, and we can commune and unify our consciousness with the consciousness of that. And we understand ourselves through what's happening outside us is what's inside us, that stage playing out. So not only do we have that, but of course we have what's happening in the sky right now that we get to embody as well, because each now has a new display of frequency that we get to work with and connect with, align with, utilize if we feel like it or not. Half the world isn't even doing it, doesn't even know what's happening in the sky, doesn't even care. Okay, so we're just aligning to it as a form of meditation, really. It's just another way for us to connect to that dimension, to bring our consciousness and expand it more fully. Such ninth house talk here right now, right? Higher philosophy, higher learning, travel, energetics, philosophy, religion. These are ninth house energies, right? So let's go in to the planets. Let's talk about the planets. And let's praise our planets that are in our chart. Let's praise our planets' placements in our chart. Because if you have an issue with something in your chart, this is a chance for you to resolve it. Because if you think that there's a bad chart, or there's a bad planet, or there's a this or that, you're basically calling that part of yourself bad and out of place and misaligned. There's no such thing. There's no such thing at all. So how can we make friends with these planets? How can we understand that each has a function and a capacity and an importance and a need that brings us into wholeness and our own personal capacity for wholeness? What our needs are, what our soul is asking us to do. Okay. So we have to wrap our heads around the fact that we are bodies, we are celestial energies within a body, right? We're light beings, we're energy beings, we're frequency beings. And then on top of it all, we got personalities and egos. We have what we call like a reptilian or primal instinctual mind, okay, for survival, for taking care and protecting. And you can see that being played out in like behaviors in animals. Okay. They hunt, they hide, they fuck, they sleep, they eat, right? So it's like we have that because we're in a body and we're beings of the earth. We have those instincts to survive, but beyond, and to create and to be something. Okay. The part of us that needs to matter has forgotten that we already do. But there's nothing we need to prove and nothing we need to be other than here, listening to what we're meant to do from the inner self, the deeper self, that self beyond the instincts, beyond those base survival needs. And we forget, or we get so wrapped up in those survival and instinctual needs that we lose sight of bigger picture things. And those bigger picture things are literally like what we're talking about here. They're spiritual concepts, they're mental and emotional concepts, because for human beings, unlike for animals, and you see animals go into heart chakra all the time. You go see them even going into throat chakra with the sounds they make, right? But they're primal sounds. They don't talk. They body language. They chuff and growl and moan and purr, right? So we have all that too. So just take it a step further. We're human beings. We're on another level. It doesn't mean we're more important, because everything is of value. All life is of value and all life has a purpose. What's the human value? Is that we can think. We can rationalize. We can have spiritual experiences. We can use words to communicate. So what else makes us humans different? What makes us humans a higher species? Solving problems. Just name a few things that come to your mind that I'm not mentioning here.
Empathy.
Empathy. And empathetic, yeah. Relate, to relate. What else?
You have just deeper emotions. I think we're one of the first species to have more complex and deeper emotions. So that's why some can be challenging for them, because this is the first time that their soul is having this kind of experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We create art. We create art. We do mathematics. Complex mathematics, geometry. We have figured out science. We have figured out distances in space and particles. Like there are innumerous, almost like mind-blowing ways that humans have been creative. So our creativity gives us an expanded possibility of what we can do. Anything a human sets their mind to can be achieved. Let's say almost everything, anything. We have the power of our minds. We have the power of consciousness. I think to a certain degree, higher creatures, monkeys and dogs and dolphins and whales, we've seen even pigs. We've seen them have higher relationships, more complex abilities to solve problems, do certain things, even strategize or use tools, right? Like, but nothing can surpass what humans are capable of doing. And it's almost both our blessing and our curse, because if the emotional and mental body are not sound, what kind of things will we create? If we're creating for ego purposes, if we're doing with our energy, if we're aligning our mind to things that are purely egotistical or selfish or power hungry, that creates a certain ripple that doesn't just affect that person, but affects so many more, right? Like even just the act of making some item, right? Say we manufacture a book. Let's just get really basic. You manufacture a book. That is a ripple effect, right? Not just the contents of the book, but the actual manufacturing of it. The casing you choose, the paper you choose, right? The writing, the print, all of that has an impact on the planet and on people, right? Every little thing we use has an impact, or consume has an impact. So when we begin to fathom like our power and capabilities as humans, it ultimately comes down to how much consciousness do we have to take ownership and responsibility for what we create? And also, what kind of stuff are we consuming and using for our creations? Is it providing for the earth, or is it taking away from the well-being of the planet and the creatures in it, right? So these are those questions, those are taking our capacity for intellectual and moral issues, right? And we're inviting this deeper inquiry that only humans are capable of. And then if we go beyond humans, start to think about this too. Because if we're talking about energy of our galaxy, we know our galaxy. But what about other galaxies out there? What about other celestial beings that are not in human bodies, that are potentially out there, right? Either by vibration or by body. We have no clue what that looks like. We only have inklings of that other side, right? We call it angelic beings or ascended masters or the ancestors, right? Those are all words that describe the energies that continue on after embodiment or that up-level themselves to a different energetic pattern that has no physical form, but has a form, a formless form, right? So our language that we're in, speaking of astrology, is going into those realms. It's going into these broader, further fringing on the edge of what our human brains can even fathom. And that's maybe not for us, but that's for a lot of people who are out there who are just starting to like wake up to realize, oh my God, I've been living in a certain way and it's having a negative impact, both on my life and other people's lives. And there's going to be more and more and more people waking up around that guilt, I want to say, because that's a motivation. I feel like shit because I see the river full of sludge from trash, right? Or I've lost property because of climate change, you know? So there's so many things that people are waking up to, and it is a harsh wake-up call. And they're looking to those like us who want and have been already doing this work, have been seeking new pathways of functioning on this planet that are not detrimental, or at least less detrimental, right? Ahimsa, do less harm at least, if not no harm. You know, walking like the Buddha, walking like the yogis, walking like, you know, those who have come before us, who have done good things for the world and for life. We are on that path too. We are all on that path too. So we're here up leveling our own awareness, our own hearts, our own language, our own capacity to speak about these things. And in our own unique ways, in our own unique worlds, being able to bring them through, bring them forth, so that we can help hold others' hands as they have their awakenings and as they make their changes. Because we all got to eventually, if we want to keep the planet, and if we all want to be happy and healthy, right? So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being one of those people that care, that want to do better, that want to change yourself, that want to uplift the world and inspire others through your consciousness and through your care and your studies and your being who you are. You are making a difference. And you already mattered anyways, just like everybody does. But we're making our mattering matter more so that we can, it's like when you invest money, right? We're investing energy. We're investing time and heart. And that's all worthy. It's all worthy work. Helps us build our capacity of resilience and love and peace. Yeah. And that stillness that we create inside of us, that stillness we create inside of us, even when there's chaos, that has a ripple effect.